If someone falls, why do the injury show falls from behind? And why is the one person who saw it already controlling the story even before anyone asks questions?
I couldn't feel my legs when I hit the bottom, and my dad just stood there and said, "Walk it off." I'm Maya, 17, lying on the cold tile at the base of our staircase, staring up at him like maybe I heard wrong, like maybe he didn't just watch me fall, but I didn't fall. I remember the exact moment, halfway down, one hand on the railing, and then his hand on my back, and the push. Every step slammed into me on the way down. My head, my spine, I couldn't even scream by the end of it. At the hospital, he kept repeating it. "She's clumsy. She slipped." I almost believed him until the doctor looked at my scan and went completely silent. Then he turned, stepped out of the room, and I heard him say, "Get me 911. This wasn't an accident." Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The curtain outside my ER room barely muffles the sound, but I hear everything. My dad shifts beside the bed, just a little, but enough. Enough to tell me he heard it too. For a second, neither of us says anything. Then he lets out this quiet scoff, like the doctor just made some kind of mistake. "They don't know what they're talking about," he mutters, more to himself than to me. "They see one scan and suddenly it's a whole story." I turn my head toward him. Slow, careful, every inch of movement, sending a sharp electric pain through my neck. "You said I slipped," I whisper. "I times no times you slipped," he shoots back immediately, too fast. His eyes flick to me, then away. "Maya, you've always been clumsy on those stairs. Always." That word sticks, because I try to really remember other times, other falls, other injuries he brushed off the same way. But nothing like this. My legs are still numb, not asleep, just gone, like they don't belong to me anymore. Panic creeps up my chest again, tighter this time. "What if I can't walk?" I ask, barely louder than a breath. He exhales sharply, irritated. "You're fine. Stop thinking like that." Fine. The word feels wrong. Everything feels wrong. Outside, footsteps approach more than one person this time. He hears them too. I can tell by the way his shoulders tense, the way his pacing stops completely. The curtain pulls back. The doctor steps in first. His expression different now. No hesitation, no softness, just something firm, final. Behind him, two uniformed officers. The room shrinks instantly. My dad straightens. "What is this?" he demands. The doctor doesn't look at him. He looks at me. "Maya," he says, calm but serious, "I need you to tell me exactly what happened on those stairs." My dad steps forward. "She already told." "Sir," one of the officers cuts in, voice low but unmistakably firm, "we'll need you to stay right there." Everything in my chest tightens. This is real. This is actually happening. My dad turns toward me, then really looks at me for the first time since we got here. And there's something in his eyes I've never seen before. Not anger. Not control. Something sharper. A warning. "Tell them," he says quietly. But there's pressure behind every word. "That you slip." The room goes completely silent. The doctor doesn't move. The officers don't move. They're all waiting. And suddenly, it feels like the fall didn't end at the bottom of the stairs. Like I'm still right in the middle of it. Because if I tell the truth, everything changes. The room doesn't breathe again until I do. And even then, it's shallow tight, like the air's been pulled too thin. My dad is still staring at me, not blinking, not moving, just waiting. "Tell them," he repeats. Softer this time, but it lands heavier. Controlled, certain. Like he already knows what I'm supposed to say. I swallow. My throat dry. My voice cracks before I can even finish. The doctor steps closer to my bed, careful, steady. "Take your time," he says. His tone is different from my dad's. There's no pressure in it, just space. That alone feels unfamiliar. I was on the stairs. I manage. halfway down. My dad exhales sharply behind him. See? She was times on the stairs. The officer lifts a hand slightly. Sir, that's all it takes to cut him off. I keep going, even though my chest feels like it's caving in. I had my hand on the railing. The memory hits harder, now clearer. I didn't slip. The words hang there. Heavy. My dad lets out a short, disbelieving laugh. Maya, I felt it, I say, louder this time. My heart is pounding so hard it hurts. Someone pushed me. Silence. Real silence. Not the kind filled with tension, the kind where everything just stops. The doctor's eyes don't leave my face, neither do the officers. But my dad, he finally looks away. And that's the first time I realize something isn't just wrong. It's breaking. But if I said that out loud, if I said, who times pushed me, what would happen next? My chest tightens the second the question stops being times if and turns into times who. Because everyone in that room already knows. I don't have to say his name. The silence is doing it for me. The doctor shifts slightly, turning the screen of the tablet toward me. Maya, he says carefully, I need you to look at this. I don't want to, but I do. It's my scan. Black, white, and impossible to argue with. He points, not rushed, not dramatic, precise. These fractures here and here, he says, tracing along my spine. They're not consistent with a forward.
These fractures here and here, he says, tracing along my spine. They are not consistent with the forward
fall. He pauses just long enough for it to sink in. They show force from behind, at an angle. Behind, my stomach drops. You're saying I pushed her? My dad snaps. Louder now, stepping forward despite the officer's presence. That's insane. But he still won't look at the screen. The doctor finally turns to him. I'm saying this injury pattern doesn't match what you described. The officer beside him shifts closer. Not aggressive, just enough to make it clear this isn't a discussion anymore. I grip the edge of the bed, my fingers trembling. I didn't slip, I say again, quieter this time, but steadier. My dad's jaw tightens. Maya, think about what you're saying. I am. That's when the second officer speaks, voice calm but firm. Sir, we're going to need you to step outside. And this time, he doesn't argue. He hesitates, just for a second. But in that second, something cracks wide open. Because for the first time in my life, my dad doesn't look in control. The shift is immediate and impossible to ignore. My dad doesn't argue. He doesn't raise his voice or try to take control like he always does. He just pauses. And in that pause, everything I thought I understood about him starts to unravel. Sir, the officer repeats, a little firmer now, step outside. This time, my dad nods, but it's stiff, mechanical, like he's buying himself time. As he walks past the bed, he finally looks at me again. Not angry, not yelling, just quiet. You're confused, he says under his breath, low enough that only I can hear. You always get things wrong when you panic. The words are familiar, too familiar. For a second, they almost work. That old doubt creeps in, the one that makes me question everything I remember, everything I feel. But then I look back at the screen, at the clean, clinical lines showing exactly how my body broke, and something inside me steadies. No, I whisper, barely audible, but real. The officer escorts him out. The curtain closes, and just like that, he's gone. The room feels different instantly, lighter but sharper too, like the truth has more space now. The doctor steps closer again. Maya, he says, gentler this time, has anything like this ever happened before? I open my mouth, then stop, because suddenly it's not just about tonight. It's about everything. Every bruise. Every time I was told I was overreacting. Every moment I doubted myself because he said I should. And if I start talking now, I don't know where it ends. Outside the curtain, I hear raised voices. My dad's voice, tighter now, faster. This is a misunderstanding. She's not thinking clearly. Then another voice cuts in. An officer. Sir, you're being detained pending investigation. Silence. Then, what? And in that single word, I hear it, not control. Not anger, fear. Everything after that moves fast, but not in a blur. In pieces. Clear, sharp pieces that finally start to make sense. The doctor doesn't rush me. He asks again, quieter this time. Has this happened before? And this time, I answer. Not all at once, not perfectly, but enough. I tell him about the smaller things, the times I hit a wall or a table or a door frame, and somehow it was always my fault. The way my dad would correct the story before I even finished telling it. The way I started believing him, each detail on its own sounds small, but together they don't. By morning, there are more people involved. A social worker, another officer, questions that don't feel optional anymore. They explain it to me in plain terms. My injuries weren't random. They weren't from slipping. They show consistent force from behind at a moment where I couldn't catch myself. The angle, the impact points, all of it lines up with one thing. I was pushed, not accidentally, intentionally, and my dad, he knew exactly when to do it. Mid-step, off balance, no chance to recover. When they tell me he's being charged with aggravated assault, I don't feel shock. I feel still, like something that's been twisting inside me for years just stopped. Word spreads faster than I expect. Neighbors, family, people who used to say he was just strict start calling, asking questions they never asked before. Some of them apologize quietly, awkwardly, like they're realizing something too late. The house is no longer just a house. It's evidence, and for the first time, the story isn't his to control. Weeks later, I'm in a rehab center. Parallel bars in front of me, a therapist at my side. Slow, she says. You've got this. I take a step. It's uneven. Pain shoots up my spine, but I don't stop. Because this time, when I falter, someone steadies me. No one tells me to ignore it. No one tells me I'm overreacting. Do you want to sit? She asks gently. I shake my head, gripping the bars tighter. No. My voice is quiet, but it doesn't shake. I want to keep going. And for the first time in a long time, every step
If
I
this
take
got
is
past
mine.
everyone until a doctor noticed, how many accidents out there aren't accidents at all, and who is controlling the story before anyone even questions it?